Hello, my name is Happy Jones, and there are four common problems with aging that can be avoided by making certain choices. Uh, Not totally, some of them can't be avoided totally, but really made to be much easier if we make certain choices. And the first one is health. And poor health can make your life really, really bad. Depending on your health, it can make it hard for you to do things. It can make it hard for you to enjoy life. It can make it hard for you to walk. And if it happens during your working years, it could even make you become poor. So it's important to guard your health as much as you possibly can. And sometimes it's caused by genetic problems, but many times it's caused by lifestyle choices. And how many times you've been diagnosed with a health problem and the doctor has advised you to eat this, or not eat this, or to not eat that, because that is affected by what you eat. What we put into our mouth now can affect our body years into the future. So we need to take care of our health. And we need to eat more vegetables and to eat less fat and less salt and sugar. Now, we know that, but we live in a society that is very hard to follow that rule, especially if you eat out, because the food in restaurants is loaded with fat and salt and sugar and way more than our daily allowance would allow for us to have. And we can have in a simple sandwich enough fat that is over our day's allowance in fat, drastically over. And we have grown up with these tastes and we're used to them, and it's very hard to stop getting used to them. It's very hard to give up sugar, and it's very hard to give up salt. And it's not too hard to give up fat until you find out you have to give up desserts. And desserts have a lot of fat in them, and that's becomes very difficult to give up. So a lot of it requires our lifestyle choices. And even if we got a chronic disease and it's genetic, we can make it better by our lifestyle choices. We can make it much better. And it's a choice that we have to make. And it's difficult. I know it's difficult. I struggle with it every day. And I'm not perfect at all. And I'm constantly fighting it. If I'm fighting it, that means at least half the time I'm eating well. So we need to make a choice for better health. And another thing that can go wrong, and this is not for everybody who gets older, not for everybody, but it is for a large portion of our population. And that we get older, we find we have very little money to live on. And that is because we didn't make enough during our lifetime to build up a decent Social Security or a decent savings of any kind. And the other problem is caused because we never saved anything. And we always put it off till we made more money, or until we got older, or till this, or you were still young, you didn't need to save. Well, you need to save when you're young. You need to start as young as you can. At 16, you get your first job, you need to put a little bit of aside away. And you need to get into that habit of saving. And even when you get to be 60 or 70, I mean, my generations, we had it easier for health insurance because when we got older, our jobs gave us our health insurance. And many of us, if we worked at the same job for a while, we ended up with health insurance when we got older. But that is going away, where people have to pay more for their health insurance and have to pay more for this and for that. and it's becoming more difficult for people. So you need to start saving, and even if you're in your 50s or 60s, you can start saving. And even if you don't have enough money, you can start saving. You can put away $1 a month, $2 a month. You can start putting away something, and it eventually adds up. And you can add to it too. And when you get enough saved that you're able to open a bank account with it, go to the bank and open up account, and then designate that as your old age account, and don't touch it for anything until you're 70 maybe or 60, till you retired. Um, and by then it may be too late to save anything. But you have to remember that old age comes upon you faster than you think. One day you're 25, and old age is something you don't think about. You don't do anything to prepare for it. And the next thing you know, you've turned old. It's just like that. It seems to happen overnight. Um, and the older you get, the faster the time goes by, and the less time you have on this earth, the faster the time goes by. So you need to start a savings habit if you're at the age that you still can start saving something. And this, I realized, was more for younger people, to try and get them to start to save. And the next thing is that we slow down when we start aging. And we may have worked at a job where we sat for 8 hours a day, and then we sat in a car driving home, and then we were on our feet for a short time at home, where we used to be on our feet all for hours. And we just stop moving because we don't feel like it. Our muscles get weaker as we get older, and they don't recover near as fast. And we just get weaker, and sometimes we end up in walkers, and we end up with a cane, because our muscles have strictly gotten too weak. And the one good thing about muscles is that they can be built up stronger at any age. That's one thing you can always build up stronger. You might not need to build it as strong as when you were in your 20s, but you can still build those muscles stronger. So you need to exercise when you can. When you go out in the car, park further away from where you're going, so you have to walk to it. If you're going to the grocery store, park at the far end of the parking lot, so you have to walk to the door. Anything to get yourself to do more exercise. Go upstairs instead of elevator if it's just 1 or 2 flights, and walk upstairs. So make a choice to try to exercise more, and find an exercise that you enjoy doing also, if possible. Now, the last thing that happens when we get older is that we get overweight. Now, I know everybody knows some older person that's thin. Well, I did too. But they are not that common. It's the majority of people, when they get older, get overweight. And you can just look at around you, go to the grocery store and look at all the older people you see that are overweight. And they have bulgy tummies and weak muscles and things like that. And they're just overweight. And they're used to eating what they want and what tastes good to them, and not what is necessarily good for them. And they've stopped moving much, and they ignore the obvious. A lot of times, I know people who've had heart attacks and were lucky enough to survive it, and still are eating butter and desserts and all these fatty foods. And you'll see a family, mother that's overweight and struggle with it, and her beautiful daughter as she's young, and then she gets older and she gets fat, and then you see her raising her kids, and she keeps feeding them the same food as she eats. And the next thing you know, by the time they're 10 or 11, they're fat. That is hard to do in this day and age because our food in restaurants and in grocery stores, they have everything packed in individual packages now for just look at all the stuff that is for convenience and easy to heat up because we live busy lives. And women are working more now. They're encouraged to have jobs more, especially if they're married, even they're encouraged to have jobs more. And it's harder for them to sit down and make a decent meal at home. They're tired, it's easier to do something just heat it up. And when you get older, you don't feel like eating, cooking much. So you just get something easy and quick, a piece of pizza to stick in the oven or something to heat up. And you'll eat all this fatty food that is not good for you. So I know it's hard because I struggle with it daily. I struggle with it constantly, and I'm not always good at it either. And I do cheat, and I try not to, but I will make excuses in my mind at the time and just push the other stuff out of my mind. That tells me I'm not shouldn't do that. And I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to get much better at it because I want to live longer. So I think that's it for today. And I'm going to wish you all to try the best you can if you're so inclined. And if you're not, well, I wish you the best of luck anyhow. And that's going to be it for tonight. And pleasant dreams and everything good wishes to you. Good night.